Welcome back to Gunners News today. Arsenal are wasting no time after lifting the Premier League trophy, and Mikel Arteta is already planning another title-winning squad. The Gunners are pushing for Newcastle captain Bruno Guimarães, have identified Bradley Barcola as their top winger target, and could even receive a financial boost if Chelsea sign former Arsenal striker Folarin Balogun. We'll break down every major transfer update, explain what it means for Arsenal's summer plans, and look at which deals are most likely to happen. Make sure you stay until the end because some of these moves could completely reshape Arsenal ahead of next season. After winning the Premier League title for the first time in 22 years, Arsenal have the opportunity to attract some of the best players in the world. While they were already capable of convincing the likes of Declan Rice and Victor Gyökeres to sign, there was a sense they needed a piece of major silverware to show off in transfer negotiations. Well, with that in mind, Mikel Arteta and co are attacking things hard as they go about retaining their crown. Up top, Morgan Rogers is the leading target, while in midfield, there are a host of options on Arsenal's radar, including Newcastle duo Sandro Tonali and Bruno Guimarães. Moroccan wonderkid Ayal Bouadi is another option, while Alex Scott at Bournemouth is a player the Gunners really like. Of all of them, Guimarães would be the biggest of statement signings. Why Arsenal want to sign Bruno Guimarães from Newcastle? Last week it was revealed that Arsenal had already opened initial talks with Guimarães representatives regarding a potential switch to the Emirates Stadium. A fee of £55 million was put forward towards Newcastle via intermediaries, but the two were in no bid to hold discussions at that price. The word is that the Brazilian is not for sale, but he only has 2 years left on his contract and the sense is he will not renew. As a result, Arsenal have been given encouragement to open official club-to-club talks in the coming weeks as they attempt to prize him away from St James' Park. So, why would H be the ceiling raiser Arteta needs in the middle of the park? Well, at the age of 28, this is a win-now signing. It's the type of player you grab when you're on top. Call it a Sir Alex Ferguson type signing if you will. On countless occasions, the decorated Scot would go and sign the very best players in the Premier League. Arsenal would be taking a leaf out of his book in that regard. Proven in England and the captain of Newcastle, it's obvious to see why Arteta would want him. He would not need much time, if any, to settle into his new surroundings and is a player capable of immediately taking on leadership duties in the team. That's not to suggest he would claim the captaincy from Martin Odegaard, but with him and Declan Rice in midfield, you would have two dogged warriors who are willing to whatever it takes to win. Big personalities, there would not be a more feared midfield duo in the whole of the Premier League. He's not just about doing the dirty work, however. Guimarães bagged 9 goals and supplied 6 assists in 29 league games last term. You name it, Bruno can do it. That being said, did Arsenal already have a similar player during the Arteta era? Arsenal have already sold their own Bruno Guimarães. Ever since the aforementioned Rice arrived at the Emirates in the summer of 2023, it feels like Arteta has been seeking solutions to his midfield three. Of course, the club record man has been an immovable object in the middle of the park, but his partners haven't always convinced. Rice first partnered Thomas Partey and then established a wonderful connection with Martin Zubimendi last season. That was, however, until the Spaniard's performances started to wane. No other outfield players at Arsenal featured for more minutes than the midfield duo in 2025-26. Zubimendi looked knackered once all was said and done. That window in 2023 was actually decisive in all of this. Yes, Rice arrived, but a certain Granit Xhaka, Arsenal's very own Guimarães, took his leave, joining Bayer Leverkusen for just £21 million. Truth be told, the Swiss exit from North London was a surprising one. At long last, the Arsene Wenger signing had managed to earn the affection of Arsenal supporters the world over after a dazzling 9-goal season in 2022-23. For all of the drama Xhaka brought with him, notably when he was stripped of the captaincy for that incident against Crystal Palace, they have missed him. What they have missed most is the 33-year-old's passing ability. He may not have been like Mesut Ozil or Kevin De Bruyne in their prime, but he could pick a lock and spread phenomenal diagonal passes across the field of play. In fact, since actually leaving London, he has been celebrated by Sky Sports' Dougie Critchley as one of the best passers in Europe. Journalist and writer Sam Dean even suggests that since entering his 30s, the former Arsenal man has been one of the best midfielders in the world. Where Guimarães and Xhaka are most alike, however, is in a few areas, primarily their leadership skills and never-say-die attitude. Xhaka was an absolute warrior and still is a gladiatorial presence, helping Sunderland to a famous Europa League finish 1 year after being promoted to the Premier League. Like Guimarães, he's the type of player who will get in your face and he's not afraid of a tackle either. Last season, Bruno picked up 9 yellow cards in all competitions. Xhaka, for comparison, has picked up the second most cautions, 64, in the English top flight since 2016. Would the Switzerland star still be capable of doing a job for Arsenal now? It's hard to say he wouldn't. While into the latter stages of his career, Xabi Alonso is keen on reuniting with the player at Chelsea and personal terms have been agreed with the player's camp. A move is unlikely at this stage, but it does go to show how highly Xhaka's mental attributes, in particular, are rated. That's an area Guimarães is particularly strong in too. For Arsenal, they may well snap up the Brazilian in the coming weeks, but there must have been occasions in the last few years where Arteta wondered, what if we still had Xhaka? Arsenal must focus on signing Bradley Barcola after Aston Villa set £130 million price tag for Morgan Rogers. Arsenal are poised to sign a new left winger during the summer transfer window. Leandro Trossard and Gabriel Martinelli have been brilliant at the ongoing World Cup, but it looks likely that the former could depart with his contract expiring next summer. Martinelli's deal also concludes in June next year, but there is an option for another 12 months. The 25-year-old is in the prime of his career and could yet stay with a renewal. Arsenal's search for a marquee left winger has seen them linked with Aston Villa star Morgan Rogers in recent weeks, but the price could prove prohibitive towards a transfer. The Villains value the Englishman at a British record £130 million, which is a fee Arsenal are highly unlikely to pay. Barring Villa lowering their demands to £80 to £90 million, the Gunners could pursue an alternative. In our view, Mikel Arteta's side must focus on landing Paris Saint-Germain star Bradley Barcola, who could be on the move this summer with Les Parisiens' interest in landing RB Leipzig's Yang Diamand. Diamand has already given his full priority to the European champions amid interest from Liverpool. The Reds previously made an offer worth £87 million to Leipzig, which was quickly turned down. The Bundesliga outfit are aiming for around £112 million for Diamand's sale, and could hold out for a similar package in order to sanction the winger's departure to Luis Enrique's side this summer. PSG will obviously need to recoup those funds with a big money sale. Barcola looks the likely candidate to make way. The 23-year-old is pushing to leave Les Parisiens with his contract expiring in 2 years. Premier League rivals Liverpool are also keen on the Frenchman, but they consider him as a right-sided winger to compensate for the surprise departure of Mohamed Salah on a free transfer. This is where Arsenal could have a clear edge over the Reds. Barcola has played almost 2/3 of his career as a left winger, where he has produced the majority of his goal contributions. Looking at his PSG stats, he has made over 100 of his 152 appearances as a left winger, making 57 goal contributions. It is quite clear that the Lyon graduate prefers operating in that role. Liverpool already have Cody Gakpo as a mainstay in that position, while they have just signed Victor Munoz from Osasuna, who is equally adept operating from the left side of attack. Barcola will have to operate in an uncustomary right-wing position at Liverpool compared to Arsenal, where he could be guaranteed a starting spot on the left wing with Trossard poised to depart. Barcola's progressive carries, dribbling and chance creation would provide an upgrade over Martinelli. The price tag will most likely be less than Villa's valuation of Rogers this summer. With PSG likely to push for a deal for Diamand, they may want to recoup some of the fee, £112 million. Barcola's desire to leave could mean that they could accept £80m, £90m for a sale. This would fall right into the Gunners' affordability range for a marquee left winger. Arsenal are said to be very interested in Barcola, who has been described as unstoppable by PSG manager Luis Enrique. Arsenal in line for transfer windfall because of Chelsea. Arsenal could be in line for a decent transfer windfall this summer, as Court Offside claims that a former player may join their rivals Chelsea in the coming weeks. The Gunners are set for an important market, with Mikel Arteta keen to add even more quality to his squad after winning the Premier League last season. A move for Bruno Guimarães has been at the forefront of their business so far, with an offer made for the Newcastle ace, with a belief that any move could prove costly. As a result, some sales may need to help raise some funds, with Christian Norgård among those who have been linked with an exit this summer. However, London rivals Chelsea may help provide a windfall for the club through a sell-on clause for a former player. Chelsea eye Folarin Balogun. After a few impressive World Cup outings this summer, Chelsea are eyeing a transfer for Folarin Balogun this summer, according to Court Offside. The former Arsenal striker is believed to be a target for the Blues, with AS Monaco demanding roughly £47.4 million to sanction a possible exit. Chelsea seemingly view the 24-year-old as an ideal option, while Nicholas Jackson and Liam Delap are linked with an exit, handing Xabi Alonso another striker option. However, it would hand Arsenal a transfer windfall as a result, due to the club having a sell-on clause inserted into the deal for the former Gunners Academy product. It's a clause worth 17.5% of the overall fee, which could see the Premier League champions land a sizable sum to go towards their other transfer deals. Arsenal's transfer plans. Arsenal's summer transfer window is set to be an important one, as the team looks to keep progressing and continue winning all the biggest prizes. Deals for some of the biggest names in the Premier League are on the cards, but it is likely to come at quite an expense for the Gunners. Bruno Guimarães is a major target, with the midfielder likely to cost upwards of £70 million, while Aston Villa's Morgan Rogers is another who is being quoted at more than £100 million. It all lines up towards an expensive window that will need to be financed by more than their impressive performances on the pitch over the course of the last season. Arsenal's inability to sell for large transfer fees has been an issue that needs to be addressed. While Balogun's sale could indirectly help, the Gunners need to find a way to maximise the fees they receive in the transfer market. Arsenal's ambition is clear: they are determined to build a squad capable of dominating both the Premier League and the Champions League. Whether it's Bruno Guimarães bringing leadership to midfield, Bradley Barcola adding pace and creativity on the wing, or the club receiving unexpected funds through a Balogun transfer, this summer could be one of the most important in recent Arsenal history. Which signing would you make first: Bruno Guimarães, Bradley Barcola, or Morgan Rogers? Let us know your opinion in the comments below. If you enjoyed this update, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest Arsenal transfer news. Thanks for watching, and come on you Gunners!